Welcome everyone to Weekend Escapades. Today we are taking a drive down the old Arrowhead Trail, which is now US 91. This originally was a road that was from Los Angeles to Salt Lake City, and now we are going to start the trail in Santa Clara, Utah. Now this is about a 30-minute drive. I believe it's 33 miles from Santa Clara to Littlefield, Arizona. And these are just some of the dwellings that we found in Santa Clara. Some of the old buildings, these are kind of hidden behind other homes on the main street. And there are some beautiful old homes on the main street, as you'll see here, alongside of some of the old buildings that exist. We just had to stop and take pictures of these, because we like ghost towns, old buildings, and old farms, and this is no slouch here. Now, one of the first homes built in Santa Clara were the Hug Gubler home, and this is it right here. Now, it says that it was built in the 1860s, mid-1860s, and this is the original bell that was at the first schoolhouse in Santa Clara. Some more pictures here. Amazing homes in Santa Clara. It is one beautiful town, but we're going to get into the actual highway and its history as we go down here. Just a few items alongside the highway and some roadside oddities that you'll find extremely interesting. Now this is the Jacob Hamblin home. It's a museum there, so you should definitely, if you're en route, take a look at this or look up the history of this home. There's so many details, too much for me to really talk about here, but some original photos, and now the way they've preserved it is almost identical to the way it was originally, and the inside is full of amazing antiques, and there's a great tour that you can take for absolutely free, and they will tell you everything about the home and the history of the location. Many of the items and the antiques that we're seeing here inside the home are originally with the home. Some of the quilts and the cribs and the chairs are the originals that were there in the home of the family. So you'll see a couple of those items here in the quilts. And upstairs in this house was the most magnificent great room with open ceiling and the natural wood. Absolutely beautiful, as you'll see here coming up. Look at this room. It's just fantastic. Jacob Hamblin was a pioneer who settled Santa Clara in 1854. And there was a large flood that destroyed most of the area, and this house was constructed after that flood and became the family's residence. As we head down US 91, we'll see here that this is the Shivwitz Band of Southern Paiutes Reservation. Now, this reservation was moved to Santa Clara River a few years after the settlers had moved into the area, and a new reservation was established in 1891 on the Santa Clara River on the west side of St. George, Utah. It was hard to find much information about these dwellings. There's no markers, nothing on the ground, but I asked a couple of locals, and they said that this was where the settlers had built a church. This building that we're looking at here, and also the dwellings that are around are buildings from earlier settlers that are the remains, or what is left of once was a small town. So I would consider this a ghost town, and a couple of people there do consider this a ghost town along the drive down towards Arizona in Littlefield. So continuing the drive down old US 91, we're going to see here that it is an absolute beautiful drive in this area. The remains that we're going to see now are going to be the Castle Cliff location. This was kind of a roadside oddity and necessary, as they used to sell water here for $1 a gallon when gas was only 20 cents. This is the cabin where the family used to live. There was two of them, and one of the cabins were rented out when it was needed. And they also built this in the side of the cliff, and you'll see a tunnel. It doesn't go very far back, but it's very interesting. And this was evidently, I didn't find the information on it, but I was told that it was a storage area, as you'll see how the gas station in the building was built here. They used to sell sandwiches. They had a lot of soft drinks, a lot of things there. Again, this was built in 1926 by the Lau family. They first put up a tent and piped in water. So it was a very necessary stop along the old highway. Now, we've been heading south down US 91 towards Arizona, and when you come out at the bottom of the grade of the hills, where the Castle Cliff was located, where they used to sell that water for $1 a gallon, it opens up and you'll see an amazing plateau here, just flat, and the view of all the hills is fantastic. And you'll start seeing the Spanish Trail. This came from Santa Fe all the way to Los Angeles. Now it's well marked. They have the burrows and so forth alongside the roads on both the east and the west side of the highway. And you'll see an amazing desert arrangement of Joshua trees and cactus. Also, there is several buildings located, of course, on the east side and the west side of the highway. You'll miss them if you're going by and you're not looking for them. But these foundations, I can't tell the age, and I could not find much information on what these buildings used to be. And that's kind of sad, because we like to know what the foundations were and what buildings used to exist here. The Old Spanish Trail is approximately 700 miles long. The trail ran through areas of high mountains, arid desert, and deep canyons. It is considered to be one of the most difficult and rough trade trails ever established in the United States. Now, this trail gets its name from Spanish explorers that knew the trail existed as late as the 16th century. It saw extensive use from pack trains that traveled goods to and from locations. One of the biggest difficulties along the Old Spanish Trail and traveling along Old US 91 or the Arrowhead Trail was always water. The desert seems to always have a shortage of water. From the Spanish Trail to the old Arrowhead Trail to US 91, this desert was well traveled. Thank you for traveling with us today, and until our next adventure, goodbye from Weekend Escapades.